Hello everyone, welcome back to Chassis Assembly 2. This video should be much shorter than the last one, right? We basically built the foundation. Save document. Make sure you always save. All right, we have two independent steering arms right here. We basically what we want to do is connect them. Let's jump right in. We're basically just going to be finishing the front half of it. Now we'll be adding the steering rod, the servo, and just connecting everything up. So it shouldn't be too bad. So let's do that. I'm going to insert a component. It's going to be car parts 1. I'm just going to insert the steering rod. Click open. So I have that inserted. So let's add some concentric mates, right, between these two. So let's link the two steering arms together. So I'm gonna add a concentric mate here between that face and that face, right, between these two circular features. Another one here. Now I can move these up and down. So what I want to do next is I want to add face to face. Click OK. So let's look at it from top view. Right. So we're basically linking the two. Perfect. And for fully fixing that, for the purpose of if we want it to be straight, let's add another mate that we can suppress and unsuppress as we like. So I'm gonna add a parallel mate here, right? And what that tells me that if that parallel mate is active, that means these are straight, right? I can't turn them, right? And the reason is because of that parallel mate. So that makes sense. So I'm gonna suppress that, right? If I suppress it, I can move this. Speaking of that, let's add a new folder. Again, trying to keep everything neat. So let's call that Servo Mates. All right, we're going to add the servo, right? The whole thing is going to be driven by the servo, so we can just call the folder Servo Mates. I'm going to throw these in there. And again, the reason why, right? This tells me that there is one that's suppressed or unsuppressed. So imagine having all these open, right, and trying to find the right mate. So organize them in the folder. It makes it so much easier. So what I want to do next, let's throw in our two screws, 20. So it's a 440 shoulder screw for here and here. So I'm gonna insert a component. It's gonna be a project for me, vendor parts, screws, and this is gonna be 1/8 diameter 440 shoulder screw, which is 97 345 8 4 10. That's the part we're looking for. I'm gonna insert that here, and let's fully meet that. Right, I can select any concentric circle, right, to add a concentric mate, and it's gonna be between these two faces. And to fully, I'm just gonna add parallel relation between these two, so that does not rotate. Right? If I try to rotate it from here, the screw does not rotate, but the steering arm rotates. Again, we're just going to replicate the same thing here. So I'm going to throw these in here. So I'm going to hold the control key and drag one out instead of going to insert components and grabbing that part back. I don't want to use that, right? So I want to, let's do, oops, I'm selecting the wrong, keep selecting the wrong one. Oh, my lock is toggled on. Sorry about that. It selects the whole part. Keep doing that. Let's do that, right? It's gonna make the two faces. Also, I want to just add a parallel relation. Perfect. And if I go to my top view now, right, I have my two screws. And that's the motion that makes sense. Perfect. So let's save. I'm gonna throw these in there. And let's do this actually. Let's create folders here. So I'm gonna create a new folder. And I'm gonna call that left steering arm, or I'm just gonna call it, let's see, not arm per se, left steering. Let's call it left steering, right, with the wheel, so that's included. I'm just gonna try and organize everything. That's included. Should have probably done that earlier, but again, front wheel is included. Then I'm going to create a new folder. Call this right steering. I'll throw the steering arm in there. Flat washer. Solder screw. The wheel assembly. And the two cap screws. And we'll create a new folder in a bit for this. Let's save. Again, trying to keep things a bit organized. What I want to add now is let's add the servo. Vendor parts. Let's do the Futaba S3004 servo motor. So the color might be a bit different for you. I've actually already built this assembly in the past to render everything and to get all the drawings that you guys use. So my colors might be a bit different, but that's just an appearance thing. So if your colors are a bit off or different, it's not an issue at all. The first thing I want to do is I want to mate, right, the location, that bottom face, and my chassis. The second thing that I want to mate is a concentric mate between these two holes. And depending on if this was built correctly, right, you can add a concentric mate here, but sometimes it would not like it, right? if I try to add a concentric mate, it does not like it because it might be just a slightly off depending on the servo. So to go about this, right, the best thing to fully define this is if I add a mate from between these two faces, and I'll just add a parallel mate, and that should position that hole right in the center. Perfect. So I have these. Let's add a new, add a new folder. Let's do that last. So I have everything I'm working on right here. So these are in the Servo Mates. What I want to add next is the arm for the servo. Right, and your color might be a bit different, and that's okay. I just change it black for rendering purposes. So again, this file was grabbed from was downloaded from GrabCAD. So it's all these dimensions are very close to what the real one looks like, or where it is. But the only thing is that this feature is a bit different, right? If I try to do a concentric mate here, again, I can't select this because of the pattern, right? It's not a circle, so I might want to select some circular edge, maybe this one. Oops, it's floating in the air. Let me cancel out. Let me bring that up somewhere here. Oops, accidentally pressed the wrong thing. Can you go to me? Concentric, right? And if you look in there, oops, right, it overlaps, and that's okay, right? It doesn't matter. We're just trying to show the motion and everything, so that's okay for the purposes of this course and demonstration. What I also want to add is probably so where it sits. So basically, that face sits on top. Perfect. So that rotates concentrically around the circle. Again, if the colors, if your colors of these parts are a bit different, it's because I basically imported the same parts you guys have. I just added the appearance, again, for rendering purposes when I created the packet that you guys use. So it's not a big deal. At any point you can go in and you can change the appearance from here, right? So if I click here, I can make that red if I want. I can make that green. I can make it white, whatever you want. But again, for the purpose of the rendering, I use black, and I believe the actual ones that we get are black. So I want to insert a component here, right? So what I have last is just the piano wire. So I'm going to go to car project, and I'm going to go to car parts 3, I want to say. And let's insert our piano wire. Let's try and get this mated, right? So I have this face, I want it to go here. Let's flip direction. And I want this to go in here. All right, so now it's floating mid air. So what I want to do, maybe add coincident mate between these two faces. Click OK. So let's throw these mates in here. And let's create a new folder. Let's call it Servo left steering. I have right steering, and this is the servo. What should we call this? Servo motion. Again, you can call it whatever you like. I'm just going to call this the servo motion. Right, so all these parts are driving that servo motion. If I go to my top view, and I can move this, right? So my servo moves. Perfect. So what I also need is the hardware for the servo, right? So I'm missing 2 screws. And those screws are, just looking at my, so during, let's see, I have 2. I need, so I believe I'm missing, yeah, I have 2 hex nuts and 2 screws. So for these screws, it's going to be the same as the socket head cap screw. So let's do that. So it's one of these. So cap screw, let's grab one out. And let's mate that. And add, let's say, add a mate, parallel mate between these 2. Gonna grab another one out. Again, so at this point you should be very comfortable mating things, right? We've been mostly using the concentric and coincident mates, right? So pretty straightforward stuff, some parallel mates in there to fully define, although we don't really need most of them. So let's do face to face, and maybe that parallel to that to fully define it. Let's throw those in there. Let's throw these in servo mates. Right, that list is getting long. Roll the mates. We also have, it looks like we have some hex nuts in there. So it's a 832, so it's going to be an 832 undersized hex nut. So if I insert component, let's go to our project again, wherever you located that vendor parts. Kind of go to nuts and hardware, and it's going to be an 832. Just double checking that it's 009, so it's going to be the 907 60. So the narrow knot. Gonna make sure that's fully mated. Again, pretty straightforward. Maybe let's do that and that face. Add a parallel mate. Let's grab, oops, servo motor over constraining. Let's go back. So I'm gonna Control Z. Let's see. I was over constraining something, so let's double check. Not sure why I was over constraining or over defining. So I just made it with a different concentric. Again, sometimes SolidWorks just acts weird with respect to different things. That's okay. Sorry. There's always ways around it. So I'm gonna grab another one of these. And I'm gonna fully define that. Right, it's gonna be here. Maybe that face. Oops. Maybe that and that face. Just add a parallel relation. Let's throw these two in there, and let's throw these mates in this folder. So we're all set with the second video. Right, we have fully defined the servo, mated it with the screws, and we got the motion working. Again, pretty straightforward stuff, and it's not going to get any more complicated than this. We're basically just adding some standard mates to fully define our chassis assembly. So this is it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.